TQCQ, Kilo 4 Sierra Delta Victor, Kilo 4, Sheriff's Deputy, Vance County, QRZ. Welcome to QSO. What a cop. Hey, good evening, YouTube family, or good afternoon, good morning, whichever it may be. This is a 5-to-1 UNUN. At 50 ohms, or transforming 250 ohms back to 50 ohms. It could be used for making your own antenna, like the Comet Cha, and there are several others, or having a 43-foot wire or aluminum mast and making that an antenna and transforming that down close enough to somewhere where your internal or external ATU can tune it. What you'll get, and I had a whole video and I'm not sure what happened, it deleted, but what you're going to get is 6 toroids, 2 very thick pieces of copper pipe, 2 PCB boards. One says PCB2, the other one says PCB1 on PCB1. There are 2 holes, one of them you solder, the second one's a pass-through. I'm going to let you know right now, it's going to be very hard to solder the PCB to the pipe, just because the pipe is thick, it dissipates heat so fast. I had to use a torch, so I basically took my soldering iron at 900 degrees, pre-tinned the board, and then used the torch to heat everything up to get solder connections. Once you have your tubes soldered onto your PCB, I did both sides. It came with one red 18 gauge wire. It's a solid copper wire. Run that wire from the center of PCB2 to the top terminal on PCB1 and solder that in place. Okay, now from this point we're going to wind our transformer. I used a 14 gauge piece of primary wire. You're going to put it through the pass-through, bring it to PCB2, solder it there. Now to wind your transformer, it's really simple. You're gonna, obviously it's gonna start on the outside, and be mindful of the insides of these pipes unless you sanded yours are sharp. So I didn't use magnet wire, no need to use magnet wire. It's regular heavy gauge 18 gauge wire is fine. I just decided to go with 14 gauge. You're not going to be able, you're not going to be pushing a whole lot of power through this. 150 watts CW, 250 single sideband, 350 I think peak. So alright, so now you have a half. We're going to count that as a half of winding. Alright, I'm guiding this through because, like I said, sides of that pipe are sharp. So we're going to have one. We're going to come through. So that's going to be one winding. Alright. Or 1.5 technically. Pass it back through. Now, and I would say leave about an inch protruding, because you're just looping this back in on itself, and trying to look through here, pass this through. And that inch is that should be about an inch. That's about all you need. Okay. This is simple. This thing goes to whatever you're using for an antenna. Piece of wire, aluminum, homemade DIY aluminum antenna. Here is where you have, they say pin 5, pin 6. Now I wound this way, it puts the loop on the opposite side. So and I'm going to show you, it really doesn't matter where your loop ends up at. But just in case you miss winding it, we'll do it again because it's really simple. This time you just start your winding at the opposite tube. So instead of starting here, now we'll start at this tube, and then our loop will come out on the opposite side. So remember, half. So it's going to be half a turn. We're going to come through. Like I said, edges are sharp. Don't want to cut into my wire. If you use a magnet wire, be mindful. You don't want to scrape off your enamel coating. So this will be one turn through. Make mine fairly tight. Two turns through. Loop it back in on itself. Beat it back through. And leave about an inch of loop. And there you go. So now you have your loop on this side. Now I was curious, does it matter where the loop goes? Nope. Doesn't matter which way you wind it. If your loop ends up on this side or this side, really doesn't matter. If you were to check continuity, you'll have continuity from here to here, and also from here to here and across here, because, well, this antenna has no radials. So the transformer, no radials. So it really doesn't matter which side you connect to your center conductor and which side you connect to ground. It's the same thing. In the instructions it says connect 5 to the center conductor, 6 to ground. It really doesn't matter. And that's how simple it is to wind a 5-to-1 UNUN. Like I said, the hard part, soldering that copper pipe to those PCBs. That's the hard part. The winding and everything else is simple. Until next time, this is Kilo 4 Sierra Delta Victor saying peace be unto you, and ham on, ham on.